Good evening, campers, and welcome back to Space Engineers 2. I'm Commander Exorcist. The regular cadence of updates for Space Engineers 2 with weekly blocks and movement toward new vertical slices has given engineers across the galaxy plenty of options for building new creations in the game. But even though we have a functional environment, there is still so much more to be done to make Space Engineers 2 a fully functional alternative to its predecessor. And with complete understanding that this game is newly released in alpha state, in this video I'm going to go through a list of my most anticipated features in the coming months. Now, as a general disclaimer, these are my own personal preferences that are based entirely on complicated scientific analysis conducted in my own mind using nothing but my personal biases, desires, and gameplay preferences. Let's get to it, shall we? So the first item on this list might not be practical until we get some of the other items on the list, but to me, it's something I'd like to see in the game sooner rather than later. I have to admit that I was somewhat surprised that we didn't get some of the basic tools like the welder, the grinder, and the drill upon release of the alpha. Even if they were mostly non-functional like the other tools in the game, I would still like to see them included. There are builds on asteroids that require precision mining and could do with a punch or two from a drill. Even if the tools themselves don't fully function, such as grinding down blocks into their components, I'd like to see these three basics added to the game early in development so we can test out any new features or functions that the devs have in mind before Vertical Slice 2.0 hits later this year. As a content creator, I work on different computers in varying locations. Sometimes the display capabilities of those machines are not as good as others, and I would like to have the ability to adjust my graphical user interface settings as much as possible, especially when it comes to size. Now, I realize that the SE2 GUI is completely new and there's a lot of changes still to be made, but I would greatly appreciate the ability to scale it, especially when I'm working on a laptop with a super high DPI. This is not something that all users are keen to utilize, so I doubt it's anywhere near being a priority in the coming months. Now, we know from the live streams that much of the work with the color wheel and the textures is done, but hasn't been pushed to the live alpha yet. Now, this confuses me a little bit, but I have to assume there's a reason for it, whether it's the need for additional internal testing or other changes they plan to make. Alas, I need more colors and at least a few armor textures to select for my SC2 builds. The basic metal armor gets old really quickly, and they've recently made some changes to the color gun, but as I've said in previous videos, I'd like to see the option to paint using the middle mouse button selection when you already have a block selected. I just feel like that was a much easier and much more intuitive interface. When the SE2 Alpha launched earlier this year, we retreated to a brand new asteroid-embedded space station with some unique window configurations that demonstrate the new unified grid system. Fast forward to today, and those glass corner panels can be the stuff of nightmares. Now, I'll admit, I'm not sure if there's anything that can be done to improve the glass corners, or if it's just a skill issue on my part, which is very likely. But these triangle panels give me some serious anxiety whenever I try to build with them. Not because they're hard to put together in the right sequence, but because they often don't fit, or don't allow the blocks around them to fit. I'd like to see some general improvements for small problems like this, where the new corner blocks seem to be incompatible with each other at times. I'm working on my own skills to try to build better structures, but it's hard when the pieces that are obviously designed to fit together simply don't. It's most likely that we'll be getting this feature in Vertical Slice 2.0 around the end of the year, but we need functional blocks. Right now, we have ore finders with no ore, reactors with no uranium, conveyors with nothing to convey, refineries with no mats, and assemblers with no ingots, and the list goes on. What I'd like to see is some level of functionality added to the blocks already in the game. Make the connector work. Give us some basic stuff to refine or actually assemble. The reason I would prefer to have this kind of stuff now is it would give us more time to check out these features and provide feedback before the activation of a major update like VS 2.0. The drill, grinder, welder, basic refineries, and similar functions are critical parts of the survival experience, which is rapidly moving our way later this year, hopefully. It's my opinion that the new blocks are nice to get every week, but I'd like to see them come with some kind of meaningful functionality. Now, with the exception of my request for better glass corner support, I expect that we'll see most, if not all, of the features that I've listed in the coming months in SE2. Still, I'm an impatient person and would like to see them added to the game before we dive into VS 2.0, but it remains to be seen if that is in the cards for those of us working to get the most out of the SE2 Alpha. So what did you think of my list? Am I completely off base with my ideas, or am I simply being far too impatient? Let me know what you would like to see added to the SE2 Alpha in the immediate future in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure that notifications are turned on so that you don't miss any of my Space Engineers 2 content. I'm Commander Exorcist. Take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there.